The stars looked different today. Commander Jake Harrison noticed it first as he sipped his morning coffee aboard the research vessel Starbound. Something was wrong with the view outside the main bridge windows. The familiar patterns of distant suns had changed overnight. "Lisa, come take a look at this." Jake called to Dr. Lisa Martinez, who was bent over her physics equipment near the communications array. She was the smartest person on the ship, maybe the smartest person Jake had ever met. If anyone could figure out what was happening, it would be her. Lisa walked over the windows and frowned. "That's not possible. Those star formations should be exactly where they were yesterday. We're not moving that fast." Captain Ryan Burke looked up from his weapon systems check. "Maybe we hit some kind of space storm? I've heard weird things can happen out here in deep space." Before anyone could answer, the ship's alarm started blaring. Red lights flashed across every surface. The computer's voice filled the bridge with urgent warnings. Unknown vessels detected. Multiple contacts approaching at high speed. Warning. Unknown vessels detected. Jake rushed to his command chair and activated the main screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. Dozens of ships were materializing around them, appearing out of nowhere like ghosts becoming solid. These weren't human ships. They were huge, at least 10 times bigger than the Starbound, and they looked like they were made of crystal and metal twisted together in impossible ways. "How many?" Jake asked, trying to keep his voice steady. 57 ships, sir," reported Pete Collins from the sensor station. "All bigger than us. All armed with weapons I don't recognize." The communication system crackled to life. A voice spoke in perfect English, but it sounded wrong somehow. Too smooth, like it was being created by a machine instead of coming from a living throat. "Human vessel, you'll prepare to be boarded. Resistance is futile. Your species will surrender to the HFY hegemony." Jake looked around the bridge at his crew. Lisa had gone pale. Ryan was checking his weapons. Even though they all knew the Starbound was a research ship with barely any defenses, Pete was frantically scanning the alien ships, trying to find some weakness. "This is Commander Jake Harrison of the human vessel Starbound." Jake said into the communication system, "We're on a peaceful research mission. We don't want any trouble." "Trouble is not relevant." The alien voice replied, "You will be boarded. Your vessel will be searched. Your species will be evaluated for conquest." The main screen flickered and suddenly showed the inside of one of the alien ships. The creature looking back at them was tall and thin, with skin that looked like it was made of the same crystal material as their ships. Its eyes were huge and completely black. When it spoke, Jake could see rows of sharp teeth. "I am War Master Zeftal of the HFY hegemony. Your species is now under our control. You have 72 of your standard time units to gather your leaders and surrender all human territories to us. If you refuse, we will destroy every human world and kill every human in the galaxy." Jake stared at the alien for a long moment. The bridge was completely silent, except for the hum of the ship's engines. Lisa was holding her breath. Ryan had his hand on his weapon. Pete was watching the sensors, probably hoping for a miracle. Then Jake started to laugh. It wasn't a nervous laugh or a scared laugh. It was a real, genuine laugh, the kind that comes from deep in the chest when someone hears something truly funny. He laughed so hard he had to wipe tears from his eyes. The alien on the screen looked confused. Its black eyes seemed to grow even larger. "You find our demands amusing?" War Master Zeftal asked. "I'm sorry," Jake said, still chuckling. "It's just that you clearly don't know anything about humans." "Surrender? That's your big plan? You want us to just give up and hand over our worlds because you asked nicely?" "We did not ask. We demanded. Our fleet is superior. Our weapons are superior. Our technology is superior. Resistance will result in your extinction." Jake wiped his eyes again and grinned at the screen. "You know what? That's exactly what I would expect an alien to say. You probably conquered a bunch of other species who got scared and gave up the moment you showed up with your big ships and your scary voices." "This is correct. All species submit to the hegemony." "Well, here's the thing about humans," Jake said, leaning back in his command chair. "We don't surrender. Ever. Doesn't matter how big your ships are or how many weapons you have. You want to fight us? Bring it on. But don't expect us to just roll over and play dead because you think you're scarier than we are. The alien stared at him through the screen. You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably both, Jake admitted. But that's what makes us human. 3 hours after Jake's defiant response, alien soldiers filled the Starbound. They moved like liquid metal, their crystal armor making soft chiming sounds with each step. The humans were separated and taken to different parts of the alien flagship. Dr. Lisa Martinez found herself in what looked like a laboratory, but everything was wrong. The walls curved in impossible ways, and the equipment seemed to grow out of the floor instead of being built. 2 aliens in white robes stood near a table covered with glowing symbols. "You are the one called Scientist," said the taller alien. Its voice was softer than the War Master's, almost musical. "I am Research Director Velkar. This is my assistant, Morden. We will learn about your species." Lisa sat down in the chair they pointed to. It adjusted itself to fit her body, which was creepy but comfortable. "What do you want to know?" "Everything. We must understand what we are conquering. Tell us about your home world." "Earth? It's just a planet. Nothing special about it." The aliens looked at each other. Morden touched a device on the table, and holographic images appeared in the air. They showed Earth from space, blue and green and beautiful. "We have scanned your world from a distance," Velkar said. "The readings are concerning. Your planet shows signs of extreme danger. Are these readings incorrect?" Lisa looked at the floating images. They showed numbers and charts that made no sense to her, but the aliens seemed worried about something. "I don't understand. What kind of danger?" Morden pointed at one of the charts. "Your atmospheric composition. 21% oxygen. This is poison gas. How do your people breathe poison?" "Oxygen isn't poison," Lisa said, confused. "We need it to live." "Impossible. Oxygen burns. It destroys everything it touches. No intelligent species can survive in such concentrations." Lisa stared at them. "You're afraid of oxygen? But it's everywhere on Earth. We breathe it all day, every day." Velkar made a sound like breaking glass. Lisa realized it might be the alien version of gasping. "You breathe concentrated burning gas constantly? This cannot be true." "It's completely true. What do you breathe?" "Safe gases. Nitrogen. Noble gases. Small amounts of methane. Normal atmosphere that does not kill." Lisa was starting to understand why they looked so shocked. "What about gravity? How strong is gravity on your worlds?" Morden consulted another device. "Standard gravity is 0.3 to 0.6 of your measurement units. Your world shows 1.0 units. This would crush most species. 1G feels normal to us. We're used to it. Your people live under crushing weight that would break our bones." "I guess so. What about radiation? Do you have problems with radiation on your worlds?" The aliens looked at each other again. Velkar's skin was starting to change color, becoming more transparent. Lisa could see something like veins glowing underneath. "Your sun produces deadly radiation," Velkar said slowly. "The levels reaching your planet's surface would kill most galactic species in minutes. How do your people survive?" "We just do. Some radiation is bad for us, but normal sunlight is fine. We actually need it to stay healthy." Morden was checking more readings. "Your world has massive storms. Hurricanes with winds that could destroy our cities. Earthquakes that split the ground open. Volcanoes that shoot melted rock into the sky. Winter seasons where water becomes solid and everything freezes." "Yeah, we have weather." "So what?" "So what?" Velkar's voice went up several notes. "Your species lives on a world of constant natural disasters?" Lisa was getting annoyed. "Look, Earth isn't that bad. Sure, we have some rough weather sometimes, but it's not like we're dying all the time." "Show us your creatures," Morden said, touching another control. New images appeared. Lions, sharks, bears, snakes, spiders, crocodiles. The aliens made more glass-breaking sounds as each animal appeared. "These are your world's animals?" Velkar asked. "Some of them, yeah. They have fangs, claws, poison, They are designed to kill and eat other creatures. Well, yeah, they're predators. We have lots of predators on Earth. How many apex predators exist on your world? Lisa thought about it. I don't know. Thousands? Maybe tens of thousands if you count all the different species. Both aliens went completely still. Their skin became so transparent Lisa could see their internal organs glowing. Your world has thousands of apex predators? Morden whispered. Sure. Why is that weird? Most worlds have one apex predator. Maybe two. Your world is classified as a Class 12 death world. Nothing should be able to live there. Certainly nothing intelligent should evolve there. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. What's a death world? A planet so dangerous that it kills everything. Your world should be empty, dead. But instead, it produced a species that breathes poison, lives under crushing gravity, bathes in deadly radiation, survives constant natural disasters, and shares a planet with thousands of creatures designed to kill. The aliens stared at her with their huge black eyes. What are you people? Velkar asked in a voice barely above a whisper. Lisa smiled, finally understanding why Jake had laughed at their surrender demand. We're humans, and we're tougher than you think. Captain Ryan Burke woke up in a cell that looked like it was made of light. The walls glowed softly, and he couldn't find any doors or windows. He had been unconscious for hours after the aliens stunned him with some kind of energy weapon. Anyone else awake in here? He called out. Over here, came Pete Collins' voice from somewhere to his left. Jake, you okay? I'm fine. Jake's voice answered from another direction. Lisa? I'm here too, Lisa said. They kept me in their lab for hours asking questions about Earth. I think I scared them. Ryan smiled in the dark. Good. Let's see if we can scare them some more by getting out of here. He started feeling around the walls of his cell. The surface was smooth and warm, like touching skin. It gave slightly under pressure, which was disgusting but also interesting. The aliens had built their prison for normal species, not for humans who grew up fighting a world that tried to kill them every day. Pete, you still got that multi-tool in your boot? Ryan asked. Yeah. They didn't search us very well. Guess they're not used to species that hide weapons. Can you reach the wall? I'm touching it now. Feels weird. Try cutting it. There was a soft buzzing sound as Pete activated his tool. Immediately, alarms started going off somewhere in the distance. Well, that got their attention, Jake said. The wall of Ryan's cell suddenly became transparent. He could see the others in similar glowing boxes arranged in a circle. Outside their cells, alien guards were running around making panicked noises. Pete had managed to cut a small hole in his cell wall. The edges were sparking and smoking. It's working, but slowly. Keep cutting, Ryan said. I've got an idea. He started doing push-ups in his cell. After 50, he switched to jumping jacks. The aliens watching him looked confused. Ryan, what are you doing? Lisa asked. Getting warm. Really warm. After 10 minutes of intense exercise, Ryan was sweating heavily. His body temperature had risen several degrees, which was exactly what he wanted. He pressed his hands against the cell wall. The glowing material started to change color where he touched it. It went from soft blue to angry red, then started to crack. The walls respond to heat, he called to the others. Everyone start exercising. Get your body temperature up as high as you can. Soon all 4 humans were doing intense workouts in their cells. The aliens outside were making more panicked noises as all the prison cells started changing color and developing cracks. Jake was the first to break through. He punched the weakened wall, and it shattered like glass. The alien guards raised their weapons, but Jake was already moving. He rolled under their first shots and tackled the nearest guard. The alien went down hard. Its crystal armor cracked against a metal floor. Jake grabbed his weapon, but when he tried to use it, nothing happened. Biometric locks. Pete said as he broke out his own cell, keyed to alien biology. Then we do this the old way, Ryan said, smashing through a cell wall. The human crew fought their way through the alien ship using tactics that clearly confused their captors. The aliens fought like they were in a training exercise, following predictable patterns and stopping to regroup when things went wrong. The humans fought like they were trying to survive, using everything around them as weapons. Pete found an access panel and started working on it with his multi-tool. Their systems are way too trusting, he said as sparks flew. No redundant security, no backup protocols. It's like they never expected anyone to actually fight back. How long? Jake asked, keeping watch while Lisa helped Pete with the technical work. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll have access to their navigation system. Ryan was examining alien equipment they had taken from unconscious guards. This stuff is incredible, but it's also fragile. Look at this. He showed them a device that had cracked when he dropped it. It works perfectly under ideal conditions, but it breaks if you look at it wrong. That's because they've never had to build things to survive, Lisa said. Their worlds are safe and predictable. They don't understand that sometimes you need equipment that can take a beating. Pete's work paid off. Lights started flashing throughout the ship as he accessed the alien computer systems. I'm in. And guys, you need to see this. Information flowed across the screen he had activated. Fleet positions, ship capabilities, conquest records, and most importantly, their standard operating procedures. They've conquered 47 different species, Lisa read, and every single conquest followed the same pattern. Show up with overwhelming force, demand surrender, accept submission. They've never had to actually fight a war. Look at this, Jake said, pointing to another section of data. Their weapons are designed for precision strikes against undefended targets. Their shields are optimized for show, not for actual combat. They're not a military force. They're a parade unit. An explosion rocked the ship. More alarms started going off. Time to go, Ryan said. Pete, can you get us to their shuttle bay? Already on it. As they made their way through the alien ship, they passed crew members who looked at them with what could only be described as terror. These beings had spent their lives conquering species that surrendered without a fight. They had no idea how to handle opponents who refused to give up. You know what the funny thing is? Jake said as they reached the shuttle bay. They really do have better technology than us, but they've never had to use it against anyone who fights back. They stole a small alien scout ship, Pete managing to hotwire it, using principles that shouldn't have worked, but did anyway. As they flew away from the alien fleet, Lisa was already analyzing the data they had stolen. I'm sending everything to Earth, she said. Command needs to know what we're dealing with. What are we dealing with? Ryan asked. Lisa smiled grimly. Bullies who've never been punched in the face. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the war room deep under Colorado's Rocky Mountains, staring at the holographic display that showed the alien fleet surrounding Earth. The data from Jake Harrison's escape had arrived 6 hours ago, and she had been working nonstop ever since. How many ships? She asked her aide, Colonel Mark Davis. 237, ma'am. All bigger than our largest battleships. They're holding position just outside our defense perimeter. Kate nodded grimly. The human fleet had maybe 50 ships that could be called warships, and most of those were converted cargo vessels with weapons bolted on. Against a proper military force, they might have had a chance. Against this alien armada, they were completely outmatched. Any word from the other colonies? Mars is preparing their defenses. The asteroid mining stations are moving to safe positions. Everyone's doing what they can, but we all know Earth is the real target. Dr. Lisa Martinez had been brought to Earth immediately after her escape. She was working in the next room with the planet's top scientists, try to find something in the alien technology that could help them. Kate walked over to check on their progress. Any good news, Doctor? Lisa looked up from a table covered with alien devices and human computers. Maybe. We've been analyzing their technology for hours, and we found something interesting. Dr. Gary Thompson, Earth's leading expert on faster-than-light travel, pointed to a complex diagram on the wall. Their ships use a different method of FTL than we do. They fold space in very precise patterns, following mathematical rules that never change. So they've never had to adapt their technology, said Dr. Amy Chun, who specialized in quantum physics. Their FTL drives work perfectly, but only under exact conditions. They can't handle variations or unexpected situations. Lisa pulled up another display. Our FTL drives are different. We built them on Earth, where nothing ever works perfectly the first time. We had to make them flexible, adaptable. They can handle stress and changes that would shut down alien systems. Kate was starting to see where this was going. You're saying our inferior technology might actually be better in some ways? Not better, Gary said. Different. Human engineering is designed to work when everything goes wrong. Alien engineering is designed to work when everything goes right. Amy was getting excited. We've been running simulations. If we link our FTL drives together in specific patterns, we can create interference waves that disrupt their space-folding technology. How many ships would we need? That's the problem, Lisa said. To create enough interference to affect their entire fleet, we need to connect every FTL drive in the human fleet, and the power requirements would be enormous. Kate studied the plans they had drawn up. What are the risks? The three scientists looked at each other uncomfortably. There's a good chance it could destroy our entire fleet, Gary admitted. The energy feedback might tear our ships apart. There's also a chance it could create a space-time anomaly that swallows the entire solar system, Amy added. And there's a chance it might not work at all, Lisa finished. Kate laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. So our options are surrender, get destroyed fighting normally, or try something that might accidentally end the universe. That's about right, Lisa said. What do you recommend? Lisa looked at her fellow scientists, then back at Kate. The aliens expect us to either surrender or fight them using normal tactics. They've conquered 47 species doing the same thing over and over. They're not prepared for us to try something completely insane. Gary nodded. Human space technology has always been about making impossible things work. We've never had the luxury of perfect conditions. Every human spacecraft is built to handle emergencies, Amy said. Every human pilot is trained to improvise when systems fail. We're uniquely qualified to attempt something this crazy. Kate walked to the window that looked out over the command center. Hundreds of people were working desperately to prepare Earth's defenses. They were her people, her responsibility. How long do we have? The aliens gave us 72 hours total. We've used 18 hours already, Mark reported. How long to set up this physics-breaking plan of yours? If we start now and work nonstop, we can have the fleet modifications ready in 48 hours, Lisa said. Kate made her decision. Do it. Send the plans to every ship captain in the fleet. Tell them what we're attempting. Ma'am, shouldn't we keep this classified? No. Every human in this fleet needs to know exactly what we're asking them to do. We're asking them to risk everything on a plan that might not work, using technology that shouldn't exist, against enemies that think we're primitives. She turned back to the scientists. You're sure about the alien technology? About how rigid their systems are? Absolutely, Lisa said. They've been using the same designs for thousands of years. They've never needed to innovate or adapt. Then we're going to show them what happens when you fight a species that innovates every day just to survive. Kate activated the fleet communication system. Her voice would reach every human ship in the solar system. This is Admiral Sullivan to all fleet units. We're about to attempt something that has never been tried before. We're going to link every FTL drive in the human fleet to create a weapon that shouldn't be possible. The risks are enormous. The chances of success are unknown. But the alternative is surrender, and that's not an option. She paused, looking out at the stars where the alien fleet waited. 48 hours, people. 48 hours to build something impossible and use it to defend our home. Let's show these aliens what human engineering can do. War Master Zeftal stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the countdown timer reach its final hours. In 3 hours, the human surrender deadline would expire. He had never had to wait this long for a species to accept the inevitable. Status report, he commanded. All ships remain in position around the human homeworld. Reported as tactical officer, Subcommander Krellin A.S. The humans have not attempted to flee. Their military vessels are holding defensive positions. Any communication from their leaders? Yes, War Master. The human called Admiral Sullivan sent this message 1 hour ago. The main display activated, showing a middle-aged human female in military uniform. She had short gray hair and tired eyes, but her voice was steady and calm. War Master Zeftal, this is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the Earth Defense Fleet. I want to thank you for the generous offer of surrender, but I'm afraid we must decline. Earth is not for sale, not for rent, and definitely not for conquering. We suggest you leave our solar system immediately. Consider this your only warning. The message ended. Zeftal stared at the blank screen, his crystalline features showing confusion that his crew had never seen before. She warned us, he asked. The inferior species with the smaller fleet warned us to leave? It appears so, War Master. Zeftal had conquered species across half the galaxy. Some had begged for mercy. Others had tried to negotiate. A few had attempted futile resistance. But none had ever acted like they thought they could win. What is their fleet strength? 53 vessels total. Most appear to be converted civilian ships. Their largest warship is 1/10 the size of our smallest cruiser. And they think they can defeat us? Unknown, War Master. Human behavior patterns do not match any species in our database. Zeftal activated a communication link to Research Director Velkar. Doctor, have you completed your analysis of the human specimens? Velkar's image appeared on screen. The research director's normally calm demeanor showed signs of stress. War Master, my findings are deeply troubling. These humans are not like other species we have encountered. Explain. They evolved on what can only be classified as a Class 12 death world. Their planet should have killed them long before they achieved intelligence. Instead, it created a species adapted for constant survival against impossible odds. You're saying they're dangerous? I am saying they're the most dangerous species I have ever studied. They view situations that would terrify most beings as merely challenging problems to solve. Zeftal considered this information. Nevertheless, they cannot overcome our technological superiority. Perhaps not, War Master, but I recommend extreme caution. Nothing about human psychology follows predictable patterns. The communication ended. Zeftal looked out at the blue and green planet, hanging in space before his fleet. It looked peaceful enough, but the readings his ships had taken showed a world of constant storms, seismic activity, and radiation that would kill most galactic species. Begin the attack, he ordered. The hegemony fleet moved forward in perfect formation. Energy weapons charged, shields activated, targeting systems locked onto human defensive positions. It should have been a routine extermination. The first surprise came when the human ships didn't run. Standard procedure for inferior species was to scatter when faced with overwhelming force. Instead, the human vessels moved to intercept the alien fleet, accelerating at speeds that should have crushed their crews. War Master, the humans are approaching at dangerous velocities, Krellineus reported. Define dangerous. Their acceleration levels would kill most species. The gravitational forces inside those ships should be lethal. Zeftal remembered Velkar's report about humans living under crushing gravity. Continue the attack. The second surprise came when human defensive systems proved more effective than expected. Orbital weapons platforms that looked primitive by galactic standards were shooting down hegemony missiles with surprising accuracy. How are they tracking our munitions? Demanded the weapons officer. Unknown. Their targeting systems appear to use multiple redundant sensors. Even when we disable their primary arrays, backup systems continue functioning. The third surprise was a human civilian response. Long-range sensors showed the planet's population evacuating in an orderly fashion, but instead of the panic and despair typical of conquered worlds, the humans seemed to be organizing for resistance. They are not afraid, Krellineus observed, studying the sensor readings. All species fear extinction, Zeftal replied, but his voice lacked conviction. War Master, incoming transmission from the human homeworld. Display it. Admiral Sullivan appeared on screen again. She was standing in what looked like an underground command center. Behind her, hundreds of humans worked at control stations. War Master, This is your final chance to withdraw. We have tried to be polite, but you seem determined to make this difficult. In 30 minutes, we will demonstrate why attacking humanity is a mistake. You cannot threaten hegemony, Zeftal responded. We have conquered 47 species. We are superior in every way. Sullivan smiled, and there was something in that expression that made Zeftal's skin crawl. You've conquered 47 species that gave up without a real fight. We're humans. We don't give up, ever. The transmission ended. Zeftal found himself staring at his tactical display, trying to understand what was happening. Every previous conquest had followed the same pattern. Superior force, demand for surrender, quick submission. The humans seemed to be following a completely different script. War Master, our sensors are detecting unusual energy readings from the human fleet, reported the science officer. What kind of energy? Unknown. Their ships appear to be linking their power systems together. The energy output is increasing exponentially. Zeftal felt something he had never experienced in battle before: uncertainty. How long until we reach weapons range? 28 minutes, War Master. And the human energy buildup? We'll reach dangerous levels in approximately 30 minutes. For the first time in his military career, Zeftal wondered if he had made a mistake. These humans weren't acting like any species he had ever encountered. They weren't afraid. They weren't desperate. They were confident. All ships, prepare for combat, he ordered. Whatever the humans are planning, we will show them the power of the hegemony. But even as he gave the order, Zeftal couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to learn something very unpleasant about what happened when you threaten a species that had spent millions of years fighting for survival on a world that tried to kill them every single day. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of the battleship Independence, watching the alien fleet advance toward Earth. Her hands gripped the command rail as status reports flowed in from across the human fleet. All ships report FDL drive linkage complete, announced Commander Tony Richards at the communication station. Energy buildup is at 60% and rising. Any word from our science team? Dr. Martinez reports all calculations are holding steady. The interference pattern should disrupt alien space folding technology in approximately 8 minutes. Kate nodded, though her stomach was tight with worry. They were about to attempt something that had never been tried before, using principles that barely made sense even to the scientists who designed it. Admiral, incoming transmission from Commander Harrison. Jake's face appeared on the main screen. He was aboard the captured alien scout ship, which had been modified with human technology in ways that probably violated several laws of physics. Kate, we're in position. The alien ship is holding together, but I can't promise it will survive what we're about to do. Understood, Jake. Are you ready? As ready as anyone can be for something this crazy. The alien fleet was now close enough that individual ships could be seen without magnification. They moved in perfect formation, their crystal hulls reflecting the light of Earth's sun. They looked beautiful and terrible at the same time. War Master Zeftal is demanding our surrender, Richards reported. He says this is our final chance. Tell him we're busy, Kate replied, on the tactical display. The human fleet looked pathetically small compared to the alien armada, 53 ships against more than 200. But those 53 ships were connected by invisible energy links, their FDL drives working together in ways their designers never intended. Energy buildup at 90%, called out Lieutenant Sarah Walsh from the engineering station. All ships report ready for activation. Kate took a deep breath. Dr. Martinez, are you certain about this? Lisa's voice came through the communication system from the science vessel Newton. As certain as I can be about something that shouldn't be possible. The theoretical framework is sound, but we're entering uncharted territory. How uncharted? We're about to make 53 FDL drives work as a single unit while creating localized space-time distortions that could affect the fundamental laws of physics in this region of space. Kate almost laughed. When you put it like that, it sounds completely insane. It is completely insane, Lisa admitted. That's why it might work. The alien fleet opened fire. Energy beams lanced across space, striking human defensive platforms and ships. The Independence shook as enemy fire hit their shields. Return fire, Kate ordered. All ships engage the enemy. The battle began in earnest. Human weapons, primitive by alien standards, struck back at the hegemony fleet. Some shots bounced harmlessly off crystal armor. Others found weak points and caused damage that clearly surprised the aliens. Their shields are designed for show, not combat, reported the weapons officer. We're actually hurting them. But the alien fleet was too large and too powerful. Human ships were taking heavy damage. The cruiser Defiance exploded in a ball of fire. The destroyer Vigilant went dark, its power systems destroyed. Admiral, we're losing ships, Richards announced unnecessarily. How long until the FTL network is ready? 2 minutes. Hold the line, Kate broadcast to the fleet. 2 more minutes. Jake's modified alien ship was dancing through space, performing maneuvers that should have been impossible. It moved like it was in several places at once, confusing alien targeting systems. Jake, how are you doing that? Kate asked. I have no idea, came his reply. Lisa's modifications are doing things to space-time that I don't understand. I'm just trying not to throw up. Energy buildup complete, Walsh announced. All drives synchronized and ready for activation. Kate looked around the bridge at her crew. They were about to attempt something that could destroy them all or save humanity. There was no middle ground. This is Admiral Sullivan to all fleet units. On my mark, activate FTL interference pattern. Whatever happens next, it's been an honor serving with you all. She paused, watching the alien fleet close in for kill. Mark. 53 human ships activated their linked FTL drives simultaneously. Space around Earth began to twist and bend in ways that violated every known law of physics. Reality became flexible. The first alien ship to enter the distortion field simply stopped existing in normal space. It flickered like a broken light, appearing and disappearing in random locations. What's happening to them? Richards asked. On the main screen, the alien fleet was falling apart. Ships that had moved in perfect formation were now scattered across impossible distances. Some appeared to be moving backward through time. Others seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Their space-folding technology can't handle the interference. Lisa explained over the communication system. Our FTL drives are creating chaos in local space-time. Their precise mathematical equations no longer work. War Master Zeftal's flagship was spinning helplessly, its navigation systems unable to cope with space that refused to follow predictable rules. Other alien vessels were firing their weapons, but the energy beams were being bent around corners, hitting empty space, or arriving at their targets before being fired. Jake's ship was somehow thriving in the chaos. Whatever you did, it's working, he reported. I can move through their fleet like they're standing still. How is that possible? Human technology was built to handle the unexpected. Our systems are adapting to the changing physics. Theirs aren't. The alien fleet was in complete disarray. Ships collided with each other as their navigation failed. Weapon systems shut down when targeting computers couldn't process the impossible sensor data. Kate watched in amazement as humanity's desperate gambit succeeded beyond their wildest hopes. They hadn't just leveled the playing field. They had changed the rules of the game entirely. Admiral, Walsh called out, the space-time distortions are spreading. If we don't shut down the FTL network soon, the effect might become permanent. Kate realized they had created something that could destroy both fleets. All ships, prepare to disengage FTL drives on my command. But first, she opened a channel to the alien flagship. War Master Zeftal, this is Admiral Sullivan. Are you ready to discuss terms? The space around Earth had become impossible. Ships existed in 3 places at once. Energy beams curved through dimensions that shouldn't exist. Time flowed backward in some areas and forward in others. The laws of physics had become suggestions rather than rules. War Master Zeftal's flagship spun helplessly through space that refused to behave properly. His navigation systems had given up trying to make sense of their position. Half his fleet was scattered across different time zones, and the other half was experiencing gravity that pulled in random directions. War Master, his communications officer managed to report through the chaos. The human admiral is requesting communication. Put her through, Zeftal ordered, gripping his command chair as the ship lurched through another impossible spatial fold. Admiral Kate Sullivan appeared on the main screen. Behind her, the human bridge crew worked calmly at their stations, apparently unaffected by the reality-bending chaos outside. War Master Zeftal, I believe we need to talk. How are your systems functioning normally? Zeftal demanded. Space itself has become unstable. Human technology adapts to changing conditions, Kate explained. We built our equipment to work when everything goes wrong, because on Earth, everything usually does go wrong. Another alien ship materialized inside Zeftal's flagship, occupying the same space but in a different dimension. The two vessels existed together without touching, creating a disturbing visual effect that made several crew members sick. What do you want? Zeftal asked. Withdrawal of your fleet from human space, recognition of human sovereignty, and an agreement that the Kethvar hegemony will never again attempt to conquer humanity. Impossible. The hegemony does not negotiate with inferior species. Kate smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. War Master, take a look around. Does this situation seem like you're dealing with an inferior species? Zeftal looked at his tactical display, which was showing readings that made no sense. His supposedly invincible fleet was helpless, trapped in a region of space where their technology no longer worked. Meanwhile, the humans continued to operate normally. How long can you maintain this effect? He asked. As long as necessary, Kate replied. But I should warn you, the space-time distortions are spreading. If we don't shut down our FTL network soon, the effects might become permanent. Your fleet would be trapped here forever. You would destroy your own system to defeat us, if necessary. But I'd rather find a diplomatic solution. Zeftal's ship suddenly shifted 90 degrees, making everyone grab for support. Through the viewports, he could see stars arranged in patterns that hurt to look at. What are your terms? He asked reluctantly. Simple. Your fleet withdraws immediately. You report to your superiors that humanity is not suitable for conquest, and you help us establish formal diplomatic relations with the galactic hegemony. Diplomatic relations? You are a single species on one planet. Actually, we have colonies on 15 worlds and 3 space stations. But that's not important right now. What's important is that you have a choice. Negotiate with us, or spend eternity trapped in impossible space. Dr. Lisa Martinez's voice came through the communication system. Admiral, the distortions are approaching critical levels. We need to shut down the FTL network in the next 10 minutes. Kate looked back at Zeftal. You have 10 minutes to decide. The War Master looked around his bridge. His crew was staring at him with expressions that mixed hope and terror. They had never been in a situation like this. The hegemony's standard procedures didn't cover what to do when physics stopped working. If I agree to your terms, you will return space to normal? Immediately. And your species will not use this weapon against other hegemony worlds? Kate considered this carefully. As long as no one attacks us first, we have no interest in conquering other worlds. We just want to be left alone. Very well. I accept your terms. Excellent. Jake, are you ready? Commander Jake Harrison's voice came through the communication system from his modified alien ship. Ready, Admiral. Preparing to guide the alien fleet to safe withdrawal distance. Kate nodded. All ships, prepare to shut down FTL network on my mark. War Master, order your fleet to follow Commander Harrison's ship. He'll lead you out of the distortion field. Zeftal gave the necessary orders. His scattered fleet began following Jake's impossible ship through space that gradually returned to normal. As they moved away from Earth, the laws of physics slowly reasserted themselves. FTL network shut down in 3, 2, 1 mark. Space snapped back to normal, like a rubber band being released. The alien fleet found themselves in regular, predictable space with their systems functioning normally again. War Master, Kate said, before you go, there's something you should know. Dr. Martinez has prepared a full report on our FTL interference technology. We're willing to share it with the galactic scientific community. Why would you share such a powerful weapon? Because it's not a weapon. It's a breakthrough in space-time physics that could revolutionize galactic travel. We believe in sharing knowledge, not hoarding it. Zeftal stared at her. You would give away the technology that defeated us? The technology that saved us, Kate corrected. Humanity doesn't want to be your enemy, War Master. We want to be your partner. 3 months later, Admiral Jake Harrison stood in the main hall of the first human embassy to the Galactic Hegemony. The building was located on Hegemony Prime, the capital world of the alien empire. It was designed to accommodate both human physiology and alien visitors. Ambassador Harrison, said his aide, Lieutenant Carol Young, the Galactic Science Council is ready for Dr. Martinez's presentation. Jake straightened his diplomatic uniform. How's she doing? Nervous, but excited. She's about to present her paper on adaptive space-time engineering to the greatest scientific minds in the galaxy. They walked to the council chamber, where hundreds of alien scientists had gathered to hear about the impossible technology that had stopped the Hegemony fleet. Dr. Martinez stood at the podium, surrounded by holographic displays showing her equations. Distinguished colleagues, she began, today I will explain how human technology achieves what you consider impossible. The answer is simple. We never expected the universe to be perfect. In the audience, War Master Zeftal listened with interest. He had been reassigned to the diplomatic corps after his encounter with humanity. His new job was to establish peaceful relations with other species that the hegemony had previously considered candidates for conquest. The key to human engineering, Dr. Martinez continued, is redundancy, adaptability, and the assumption that everything will eventually break down. We build our technology to work in conditions that would destroy most galactic equipment. After the presentation, Jake found himself surrounded by alien diplomats and scientists who wanted to learn more about human capabilities. The hegemony's perspective on humanity had changed completely. Instead of seeing them as primitives to be conquered, they now viewed humans as valuable allies with unique skills.